What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dad's Expensive Hobby.
What's up?
Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends, the Uncanny X-Men Professor X, the Savage Land version. This is one of those retro cards that they've got over at Target. I know that there's a handful of other X-Men from this particular little release or whatever. But let's look at the box real quick because I don't do these very often. It's just that big, old school like window package on the front. Got a nice picture of the animated Professor X on the front. And on the back, it's another little picture of him, whatever. And there's some info right here if you want to pause the video and read it. But enough about this box. Let's get him out of the box and take a closer look at him. All right. This is an interesting looking Professor X. Just right off the bat, he looks enormous. He looks really, really big. But let's not get carried away. Let's actually measure him and see how big he actually is. To the top of his luscious bald head, he is exactly 6.5 inches tall, which I can already tell you is too big for him. And he is 16.5 centimeters. That's a big Professor X. Is Professor X, I know that he's all the time sitting down, he's in a wheelchair, obviously. But in the Savage Land, is he a big guy? Because, this is supposed to be a 1/12 scale, a 6-inch figure. And that would make him like 6'5", and that just doesn't sound right. But anyways, yeah, way too big. And just look at his, let's look at his aesthetic. He looks big. He looks muscular. Is Professor X supposed to be muscular? Look at the size of his shoulders, and he's kind of got a hint of traps, and like he's got big pecs and stuff, and a broad waist, like a big guy, and then kind of long, strong looking legs. Is he supposed to look like this? And I know that the pants legs are kind of scrunched up or whatever, but it kind of looks like he's got really big calves and stuff. This doesn't look like Professor X. This looks more like a Hasbro G.I. Joe. Like maybe they've taken a G.I. Joe body and kind of slapped him on it, because seriously, just before we look more into his paint, if this was just laying on a counter at somebody's house and you walked in and you didn't know anything about toys or anything like that, and there was no other context, would you think that is Professor X?
Not a chance.
No, you would think that this is a freaking G.I. Joe or some army man or something. You would expect him to come, to have machine gun accessories or something. But anyways, rant over. Let's gripe about some more stuff. Let's move in on his head. And this head, try and get some more light on it. The head itself looks good, like it's sculpted well. And it's definitely painted well. The eyes and the eyebrows and the lips, they look good. They don't look like this.
Not this time.
Those two things do not look alike. I don't know why they made a new head sculpt for him, because the head sculpt that they were using on him, in the hover chair, that looked like the animated series Professor X. This doesn't. This looks like some Eastern European guy, in Professor X cosplay or something. This looks like if Gene Simmons from the band Kiss shaved his head. That's what this face looks like. Not that the face looks bad, but this doesn't look like Professor X, in my opinion. Anyway, y'all can hate me down in the comments. Not much paint on this guy. This is basically just a bare green outfit. And I guess that's okay. There's some paint on the chest here, obviously, and it's done well enough. And there's some buttons that are done whoop-diddy-doo-dah. They've got a gray belt with a red buckle. And right here on the product image, it is clearly a black belt with gray buttons. Good job, Hasbro, there. The X-Men symbol, the one on his left shoulder of mine, if it's showing it, is all jacked up right there a little bit. That is fantastic.
What is that?
This one, pretty decent. Definitely different shades of green all over him. Not shading as in artwork paint shading. Just the cuffs right here, the way they're rolled up, are a different green than this. Maybe it's to represent the inside of the material is a different green. And I've seen outfits like that, so I'll kind of let that go. But the elbows are a different green, and so are the knees, so that's not cool. And the boots here, he's got gray boots, And again, I'm going to pull the package back out. But if in person, the package looks like the boots are brown. I haven't watched those episodes from the X-Men animated show to remember if he had brown boots on during the Savage Land episodes or not. But at least from that looks brown, and these are definitely gray. And not only that, but they they don't really look like boots. Do you see that? That like separation? It looks like he's wearing like Crocs or like nurse's shoes or something right there. That I don't like it. Anyways, now decent matte finish. Like the figure isn't shiny, so I'm not really going to complain too much there. But yeah, there's hardly any paint on the figure at all, so that's kind of a big swing and a miss. Nothing to bring it to life, but I'm not surprised because it is a Marvel Legends figure. Let's go over his accessories really quick because he doesn't come with much. Of course, the just this head right here that's on him in the package, and it doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look like Professor X. And he comes with 5 hands. He comes with these 2 fist hands on him in the package. He comes with this little finger pointy hand here. I don't know what the point of that is. Is that something he does, like finger guns in the show, and I just don't remember it? But he's got that. And he's got 2 trigger hands for guns that he doesn't get.
Fuck.
What was the point of putting 2 trigger hands in there that have mold lines all over them? And of course, it wouldn't be a Professor X without the Cerebro helmet, and it is plastic. This is just a McDonald's toy. There is a nice, quite a bit of marbling in the plastic, so it is definitely cheap. No paint whatsoever anywhere on it. And I want to point out, it has a porthole in the back for something. Don't know what, because it sure as heck doesn't come with anything to connect him to. Let's put it on his head, see how that fits. It actually goes on his head pretty decently, and it actually looks all right as far as on his head. It's just plain, silver marbly plastic, like it's made out of a shampoo bottle or something. But other than that, it doesn't look bad. I know I started out the video complaining about his height. Let's compare him to a couple of other Marvel Legends, just so y'all can see what I'm saying. This is Boxer's Deadpool. Deadpool is supposed to be at what, 6'2", 6'3"? Deadpool is a big character. And Professor X is just like a millimeter taller. That is a problem. And he's bigger. Like, he's just bigger. He's more, his head, for one, his head's freaking bigger. His head's big as shit. I don't know what they were doing there. And he's just bigger. Hell, he's thicker from front to back. He's broader from shoulder to shoulder. His shoulders are broader. He's got a broader chest. His legs are bigger. What the hell is going on with this figure? Again, tell me down in the comments. Am I crazy? Is Professor X supposed to actually be kind of a big guy? Here he is with Cowboy Wolverine, and that's fine, I guess. And I was worried. I went and grabbed this Dark Thor here just in case, because if he had turned out to be bigger than Dark Thor, I was going to really throw a shit fit. But he's not, so that's okay, I guess. And just for fun, because I like handling Red Hulk, here he is with Red Hulk. At least everybody can enjoy looking at a good Marvel Legends figure. Anyways, let's move into his articulation really quick. All right. Now, he doesn't move too terribly, actually. He looks down really good. He looks up a little bit. You can't really blame the sculpt, like some hair or anything getting away or a collar, but that's about as far up as he'll look. And you can get nice nuance, and that's because, surprise, surprise, he's on a double ball peg. Now, could it be on a better double ball peg? Now, it is a nice skinny post in there with a nice big ball on it, but it's too short and it's too seated down into the neck, so that messes with the range of motion a little bit. But it is nice to see them trying double ball pegs for once. And his neck will move a little bit, so that kind of gives you a little bit more nuance. But the double ball peg, that's actually might be my favorite part of this figure, is that right there, because his head does move around really well. His shoulders will go up to 90, maybe a little bit past it. That's not too bad, can't complain there, and they move pretty well. Obviously, he's got a bicep swivel that works just fine. He's got those double jointed pinless elbows, that insert molded kind of elbow. I just don't like, what is that? Look at that. Like, elbows don't look like that. So that just, to me, doesn't look good. Functions, very well, but I just don't like the look of it. And I don't like the anti-cubital space here. Nobody's elbow looks like that either. I know everybody likes these pinless joints, but that just doesn't look really good. Anyways, wrist is on a hinge, get plenty of range of motion there. Now his abdomen, this is neutral, bear that in mind. That's all you get for the crunch forward.
We have a problem.
Nothing. Bear that in mind. And there's back. Nothing. And you lose the sculpt. They could have used a button up in there to appease me a little bit. And you get a little bit of gap right here around his love handle area with it. You do get a waist twist, so that's not bad. So he's a step ahead of Spider-Man figures. This isn't soft or anything, but his legs will come out to there, and that's not too bad. And it's a fairly simple, little ball peg system up in there, so that's not too shabby. He'll do a front kick, not that you need Professor X to do a big bunch of front kicks or anything. They did put Professor X booty on him, so his legs don't kick back at all. He's got a thigh swivel that functions just fine. Again, pinless double jointed knees, plenty of range of motion, and the proportions are okay. His lower leg is a little long, but I'm not going to freak out about that. I've freaked out about enough parts of this figure. And again, that just doesn't look good. I don't know. Anyways, boot swivel right here at the top of his boot. Shoe will point all the way down, and it'll come up pretty well. Decent amount of ankle rocker on him as well, so I can't complain. No toe hinge, but I could care less about that. I just look at that boot though. That looks like he is wearing Crocs or some kind of nursing clog or something. I don't like that. But overall, he does move pretty well. Abdomen kind of sucks, but that's okay. The neck joint and the leg movement actually kind of make up for it. Let's move into the final verdict. All right, Professor X here. Is it cool that we got a Savage Land Professor X? Yeah. Does it necessarily look like Professor X? In my opinion, no. Again, you experts down in the comments tell me if I'm just way off and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I am looking at source material right here, and they just don't look the same. This just doesn't look like that. This looks like a guy trying to look like that instead of them just making that. So I don't really like it. Oh, and just looking at that picture, I figured out what this is for. It's for the whole, up to the side of the head. But I thought in the Savage Land, he didn't have his power, so what the hell would he be doing that? But anyways, again, Marvel Legends, very little paint. Needless articulation for shit that you don't need it to do. Trigger hands for nothing to use a trigger for. And I didn't think he had his psychic power, nor did he have Cerebro in the Savage Land, so why did he have the Cerebro helmet? Overall, I'm giving this a C-. It was quite disappointing, even though, through the box I could already tell it was going to be. So it's not like, I'll give it a C, because I knew it wasn't going to be great when I bought it. I know you diehard collectors, you're going to buy it regardless of what I say, but you don't need it. It's not that great of a figure. They've made better, Professor X figures with better accessories. But that's all I've got for Professor X. If you haven't subscribed, pause the video, scroll down, click subscribe, give us a like, give us a comment, share, all that good stuff. And with all that said, this has been Dad with Dad's Expensive Hobby, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.